Aquinas was a Dominican friar. This religious order values truth and the study of divine reason, so much so that one of its mottos is simply veritas, or truth. For Dominicans and for all Catholics, the discovery of truth requires the strengthening of each person's intellect to the point that it becomes like a professional bodybuilder's muscles, ready to carry the weight of truth on their souls. And so, just as we need physical training to strengthen our bodies, so too do we need spiritual training to strengthen our souls. This training is what we call study, which produces in us knowledge and other virtues that eventually lead to wisdom. Aquinas teaches that certain seeds of knowledge pre-exist in us, namely the first concepts of understanding, which by the light of the agent intellect are immediately known through the species abstracted from the sensible things. These are either complex as axioms or simple as the notions of being, of the one, and so on, which the understanding grasps immediately. These innate truths come to us directly from God, who constantly pushes us to study more in order to know Him more closely. This is where Aquinas was truly blessed in that his pursuit of discovery of the things of God led him to receive greater graces of personal knowledge that God Himself revealed to this, his most eager student. But not all knowledge is innate. If it were so, we would all automatically know the answers to every question we ask. On the contrary, knowledge is to be pursued personally, yes, but it comes to a point that we need direction from a teacher in order to complete our knowledge. Aquinas writes, "As there are two ways of being cured, that is, either through the activity of unaided nature, or by nature with the aid of medicine, so also there are two ways of acquiring knowledge. In one way, natural reason by itself reaches knowledge of unknown things, and this way is called discovery. In the other way, when someone else aids the learner's natural reason, and this is called learning by instruction." As you may know, Aquinas was taught by one of the greatest teachers to have ever lived, St. Albert the Great, who also became a great Dominican saint. But Aquinas' good fortune to be taught by such a master of study in Albert wasn't the only means through which he pursued divine knowledge. He studied sacred scripture and sacred texts, including the Church Fathers, and especially Augustine. He also studied secular texts from the likes of Plato and Aristotle, and baptized truths from their pagan beliefs by uniting them with Catholic philosophy. Whether what he was studying was distinctly Catholic or overtly secular, whether he was studying alone or teaching to his own students as a professor, Aquinas always had his mind set on discovering the truth so that he could share it with the world. He wrote, "Now, the light of reason by which such principles are evident to us is implanted in us by God as a kind of reflected likeness in us of the uncreated truth. These natural forms pre-exist in matter not actually, as some have said, but only in potency. Before the habits of virtue are completely formed, they exist in us in certain natural inclinations, which are the beginnings of the virtues. But afterwards, through practice and their actions, they are brought to their proper completion. God has planted within us the seeds of wisdom, which will only grow if we pursue the light of reason through studying. Coupled with virtuous acts and our participation in the sacraments, our souls will be sufficiently nourished to satisfy the potential of our personal excellence. Then and only then will our boughs reach to the skies to achieve divine heights." Be like Aquinas, study the Catholic faith, pull from the shadows of secular knowledge and baptize it with Catholic insight. Share the fruits of your knowledge with others by teaching it in your own unique way.